Uh, Good afternoon, class. Can you hear me? Guys, I need somebody to respond.
Yes, I can hear.
Okay, thank you. Somebody else? Rispa, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Welcome to our class. And I hope you can also see my screen. I've shared a screen. You can need people to see my screen.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Now, today's topic, today's lesson is on electricity tariffs. And before we get there, I just want to know whether you're familiar, you know anything to do with electricity. Just want to know what the source of energy you're using at your homes. Anybody who's interacted with electricity or have an idea on electricity, kindly. Respa, can you be able to tell us something? You have electricity at home?
Yeah.
Okay. So what happens? How do you normally use it? You have to pay for it. What do you go about it? You're able to utilize the electricity. Yes. Just unmute yourself. Tell me what normally happens. Do you pay regularly, monthly? How about it?
Yes, madam, in our daily life, we do use electricity in so many ways. We use it for writing system, we use them in our machines and so many activities. At the end of the day, we have to pay for the bills, the electricity bills.
Good. Thank you so much, Rispa, for that response. You said you use the electricity, you pay for it. Now, when we come to our top lesson, which is on electricity tariff, we need to know what tariff is. As you have said, you pay for the usage. So now the rate in which you that electrical energy is applied to the consumer is what we are calling it tariff. So the rate at which that energy is applied to you by the supply company is what we're calling it tariff. So, but we have the word electricity because we are using the electricity. So tariff is that rate in which you're consuming the electrical energy. Now, I would like us to go to the next item, which is objectives of this tariff, the tariff we've mentioned. We say we charge for whatever amount you have consumed. And when we are doing that, there must be an objective. In anything you're doing, there is an objective. So one of the objectives of a tariff is actually to recover on the cost of producing that electrical energy. You know, the electricity, we get it from the generating stations, and it is transmitted all the way to wherever we are. So we need to recover on the cost of producing that electrical energy. The other objective is actually to recover on the cost of capital investment. There are lots of investment that goes into the transmission lines, into substations, and all that. So you have to recover. The reason why you have the tariff is for you to recover on the cost of capital investment. The next item is you recover on the cost of operation and maintenance. What happens is that with time, these things, there has to be maintenance, there has to be some operations going on. So then there is a cost involved in that. So the tariff has to be able to recover on the cost of operation and maintenance. What would be somebody's mic? Somebody? Okay, it's fine. The other thing is to get a suitable profit on capital investment. You see, whenever you do any investment, you get a profit. You have to get a profit at the end of it. So that is an objective of a tariff. So those are the 4 key objectives of a tariff. Our next item for today is the characteristics. We need to know characteristics, the desirable characteristics of a tariff. And we are saying a tariff has to give us proper return. There has to be proper return. Is one of the characteristics. There has to be fairness. Now we have different consumers. And because of that, the tariff has to be fair to each of those consumers. They are the large consumers, they are the small consumers. As Rispa said, you use in different ways. So there are those who use in factories, in industries, and there are those who use in domestic. So the tariff has to be fair for all those consumers. And the other thing with the tariff characteristics that it has to be simple, the simplicity. Any ordinary consumer should be able to understand the tariff, because a complicated tariff may lead to opposition. A complicated tariff may lead to some opposition. The other characteristic is reasonable profit. So there has to be a profit which is reasonable. And last but not least, characteristic is it has to be attractive. Tariff should be attractive in order to attract a large number of consumers. Those are the characteristics of a tariff. There are 5 of them. Are we together, class?
Yes, we are together.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So we need to move on to the last item, which is just a minute. The last item is on the types. So we have several types of tariffs. Are you guys able to see my screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, thank you. So, so there are different types of tariffs. First is a simple tariff, as you've seen. Normally you call it uniform rate tariff. That is the other name of simple tariff. Secondly is the flat rate tariff. Thirdly is the block rate tariff. The fourth is 2-part tariff. We also have 3-part tariff, maximum demand tariff, and what we call power factor tariff. So when you talk about a simple tariff, this one we are charging fixed rate per unit. So you might say 1 unit is this amount and it is fixed. No matter the number of units, the rate is uniform. So that is what we're calling it a simple tariff. Next is a flat rate tariff. In flat rate tariff, we are charging different consumers at different uniform rates. So the large consumers, you might have their own rates. The smaller consumers, you have their own rate as well. Block rate tariff, when a given block of energy is charged at a specified rate, and the succeeding blocks of energy are charged progressively reduced rates. So in blocks, maybe you say once you consume the first 30 units, you give a given amount. Beyond that, you also give another amount. This actually encourages consumers to consume more, because the more you consume, the lesser the rate you're being charged. The fourth is the 2-part tariff. In this tariff, we are having 2 parts. We split into 2. We have what is called the maximum demand. So we look at the ratings of your equipments, and then you charge as per the ratings. And then the second part of it is you look at the number of energy consumed. So you have 2 parts, the maximum demand, then together with the number of kilowatts consumed. So that is what we call in 2 parts. The next being three-part, more or less the same as two-part, but in this we have a fixed charge. So apart from the maximum demand and the units consumed, we also have the fixed charges. So there is the fixed charge with no matter be it you consume or you don't consume, you pay some fixed charges. So there is a fixed charge. You add the number of the maximum demand, and then you also add on the units consumed. The sixth one is the maximum demand tariff. This is more or less the same as the two-part tariff, but in this, maximum demand is based on the meter. So you install a meter to give you the actual maximum demand of these equipments. Unlike in two-part, where the maximum demand is only based on the ratings of the machines. Last is the power factor tariff. This one, the tariff in which the power factor of the consumer load is put into consideration is what we're calling it power factor tariff. So those are the areas for today's class. So we started by looking at the definition of the tariff. We talked about the objectives, we talked about the characteristics, and we also talked about the different types of tariffs. So anybody with a question before we end our lesson? Any question? Yes, Abednego, you wanted to say something?
Yes. Concerning the power factor tariff, so what is this term power factor?
Power factor, we look at, first you need to know what the power factor is and the different power factors. Normally, there is a power factor of 1, which is the highest value. We have a power factor of, it could be 0.9, 0.8. Now, the ratings of our equipment has got some power factors. So if you are using a lower power factor, there are going to be a lot of energy being wasted. So when you talk about charge on power factor tariff, you look at whatever power factor you have. And if you're having a low power factor, you are penalized because there are so many losses. You're bringing a lot of losses to this energy. So that you make sure you improve the power factor of your equipment in order to pay less. So the better the power factor, the better the lesser the cost you pay. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other question? So if you don't have any other question, I have an assignment for you guys. And the assignment is I want you to get the different types of power factor tariffs. Different types, I think you must be writing down different types of power factor tariffs. Power factor has got different types. So we meet in our next lesson once you research on that. And have a good afternoon, guys. See you in our next lesson.
See,
Bye.
Bye. Just a minute.